Hello, I'm Pastor Frank Anderson from St. Michael Lutheran Church in Columbia, South Carolina. We did a consultation with the Crumley Archives on how to better store and care for our records. And so I'd like to share some things with you about kind of the result of that consultation here many years later. Several things that we try to keep handy. One of them is the manual for the archives in the work that we do. The other is a policy for our particular archives here at St. Michael. And then we also have a disaster plan for what happens if we do have a disaster in the congregation, building fire or water or something like that. So we know kind of what to do first in terms of our archives. The other thing that we keep very handy is a condensed history of the congregation. Unfortunately, our very earliest records have disappeared, and this is an archival issue. We don't know where they are, and we don't know if they still exist. But fortunately, in the 1970s, those records were microfilmed, and so we are able to have a copy of those records, which we keep here in this folder, allows us to access those records even though we don't have them anymore. Part of our archives is also auxiliary material to St. Michael. One of them is that we had a special conference in 1816 at St. Michael, and we have the records of that we keep. We also have a copy of the title page of a sermon book from 1733 that came through some of the St. Michael members. Some of the very earliest records that we have. This is a parish record that goes back 1918, so you think that's old, but we actually have the parish record here that goes back to about 1840. And of particular interest in this particular parish record is that we have the roll of members that are listed here, but then we also have something that may be unique to any congregation in South Carolina Synod, and that is that we have a roll of colored members or African American members. We know that St. Michael had enslaved members of the congregation that were worshiping in our balcony. Interestingly, these are listed as male members and female members. We have their names and who they belong to. One of the things that we're very fortunate to have also are several records from some of the auxiliaries that are part of St. Michael over the years. Here we have a couple of the minute books of the Women's Missionary Society going back into the mid-1800s. And so we're very fortunate to be able to read those and also take note of the women who were a part of the ministry of this congregation way back in those days. We also have some really wonderful records about the building of our third sanctuary, which was built in 1921. This is a record book that shows all the different contributions to the building of St. Michael, both materials, but also the fact that people housed different workers. And we also know that Mr. Swigert, who was the contractor and the builder of the church, received his payment through that. The Dreher family, who were very prominent in South Carolina Lutheranism, were part of this congregation. What we have here is the Dreher family Bible, and it has a number of pages of family records. And so we often have folks from families that were in this area in the early 19th century to the late 19th century who want to know if we have any material on their families. And so between parish records and Sunday school records and women's auxiliary members and family Bibles, we can sometimes come up with some really interesting information for them. We have also a lot of what I guess is called ephemera. And so we are very fortunate that families of the congregation have gifted us with very interesting things. These are original Lutheran Church Visitor magazines or newspapers that have a lot of information, baptisms, marriages, and all sorts of other things that we use. And we also keep newspaper clippings of historical events at St. Michael as well.